Hi dolls, welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to make a video on what are the best hardstyle events and raves to attend in the UK. Now we all know the Netherlands is definitely the place to be when it comes to hardstyle and that kind of thing, but unfortunately not everybody can travel abroad to attend these festivals. So I have basically split this list into Scottish events, Irish events and English events. Scotland definitely gets more hardstyle events than England or Ireland certainly do. I think we're quite lucky, we get quite a lot of good lineups as well, especially in the Glasgow area. So probably the first and most well-known biggest hardstyle event in the UK is Coloursfest. So Coloursfest is a one-night event. I think it starts at 5 o'clock and goes right through till 3 or 4 AM. I'm not gonna lie, I've been to Coloursfest and I've had a great time. It's based in Braehead in Glasgow next to the waterfront. It's kind of half indoors and half outdoors. I actually did a vlog on the first Coloursfest back after lockdown. Just click up here if you want to watch the vlog. That was the first time that Coloursfest was completely outdoors, obviously due to COVID. Mans has decided to pump up his tyre. It's not just entirely a hardstyle event, it definitely has some trance and techno and EDM. The sound system in the Braehead Arena is pretty spectacular. Definitely check that out. Other well-known labels in Scotland is Infexious. They're again just kind of one-night events and they usually happen in the Classic Grand. Raw style, hardstyle, always a good night in the Classic Grand. The speakers in there are amazing. It's definitely my favourite venue when it comes to hardstyle nights. Speaker quality is great, the lasers, there's smoke, and there's usually 2 separate rooms, which is always really fun. And Infectious has a special place in my heart because that was one of my first hardstyle raves, was Infectious, and every time I go I always have a great time. They always manage to book pretty good and relevant DJs and they don't tend to book the same ones all the time, so that's always a plus. And if you're into your hardcore and your up-tempo, then Darkside is probably your place to go. Darkside is run by the same people. I think Twisted Events runs Infectious and Darkside, but Infectious is more hardstyle and raw style and Darkside is more hardcore up-tempo. And again, I have another vlog on Darkside. If you want to watch that, just click up here. And it was great, can't fault it. It was absolutely fabulous. Another Scottish label that do hardstyle nights is Hardstyle Superheroes. I think this might be Colours that actually runs Hardstyle Superheroes, but this usually happens in the O2 Academy in Glasgow and sometimes the SWG3. Hardstyle Superheroes has received a little bit of controversy because it seems to book the same big DJs all the time and the lineups can be a bit random. Like for example, I think the most recent lineup is Darren Styles, Will Atkinson and Ruler, which is a little bit bizarre, you know, just Will Atkinson and then Ruler. And the crowds have been known to have a lot younger people. It has received a little bit of controversy, but not gonna lie, I feel like it's a hit or miss some nights. Sometimes I have a really good time, other times I don't. But again, just another popular Scottish label for hardstyle events. So the next one is definitely a recent one that I've heard. I don't really know how long they've been running for, but I've only recently heard of this brand until maybe last year, and it is Sector Events, and honestly they seem to be hitting it out the park with these lineups. They do quite a lot of the Rebellion homecoming nights and it's usually based in Falkirk, in City Falkirk nightclub. I recently went to the Sector Events Hogmanay for New Year's Eve and honestly I had such a good time. Again, I vlogged the whole thing, so if you're interested in watching it, definitely click up above here. It was amazing, I had a great time, good vibes, proper fans, amazing lineup. If you love your raw style, Sector Events is the place to go. And again, another recent one that I've only kind of just heard of in the last couple months, and that is Hardology. So I have a feeling this is maybe a new label, I'm not sure. But they are again another label that is definitely impressing me recently with the lineups. So Hardology does actually have an event coming up on the 25th of February and it is going to be in Slay nightclub. I think that's going to be their choice of venue, not entirely sure. But they've got Mish, Death Punch, Regain, you know, it's just kind of like the underground raw style type of DJs and they're not as popular compared to headliners that maybe Hardstyle Superheroes would book, and they're definitely in smaller venues. But I definitely do think smaller venues and less known DJs creates the best vibes, so I am seriously looking forward to that. So moving on to the Irish type of hardstyle events, hardstyle labels and nights. The first one I was told about and I know is Planetlove. And I think that happens in September. So again, I can't really tell you too much about that, but I'll definitely link all their socials down below so that you can have a look. But I don't know if it's purely hardstyle, but it's definitely a mix of like EDM and trance, techno, etc. So if you're Irish, definitely look into that. You could probably tell me a wee bit more about it than anyone else. So the next song we have is Revival Belfast, and this is a label that actually teamed up with Hardology to give us this ravey night in February with Hardology. They seem to be hitting it out the park with their lineups as well. Very small, raw style type of DJs, and it sounds like those nights will be very vibey. So Revival is definitely a label event planner that you should check out. And again, in Ireland, I recognise this one. It's called A Night of Madness, and I'm pretty sure it's Murdoch, the DJ who runs and plans these type of events. Pretty sure it's based in Belfast. So if you live near there, definitely worth checking that out. Now moving on to the English-based hardstyle type of events, probably the biggest hardstyle festival in the whole of the UK is probably Kiddstock. It is purely hardstyle tunes, reverse bass, etc. only, and it used to be on the beach. I actually attended Kiddstock for the first time last year, where it had moved to a different location, and not gonna lie, I didn't really like the location too much. I thought the festival was, you know, it upgraded to a bigger festival site, and I found that the festival site was far too big for the amount of people that were there. It made me feel like the festival was a bit dead, but again, I had a really good time. It was vibey. Another event that is in England is one called Hellfire. I've never been to this, but I have heard of friends going to this. It looks good fun. I would probably attend that if the lineup was pretty good. I'm not sure whereabouts in England it is, but again, if you do want to check out their socials and see what their recent lineup is, then check it out, linked in the description box below. Another one again that I've heard of that is in different locations, not just in England, is Don't Let Daddy Know. So that happens in Manchester, it also happens in Singapore, and it also happens in Amsterdam as well. So it must just be like one of those labels that holds different events, and the lineup seems pretty good. I would love to go to Don't Let Daddy Know in England. It's definitely on the bucket list. And definitely a recent festival that just happened last year was Lost Minds Festival, and that happens in Leys Park in Newcastle in April time, 29th of April I think it is, for 2023. And again, that's just a one-day festival, and it has a mixture of EDM, house, trance, hardstyle. It's got different stages, and it's all outdoors, and it's definitely a festival that helps to kick off the festival season because it's in April. The lineup is looking pretty good already. They're still to release the full lineup, so that'll be very exciting to see what that is. But yeah, I think that is pretty much the whole of the UK's hardstyle event planners, event organisations that really book hardstyle type of nights. If it's not purely hardstyle, then it's definitely got a range of music styles, which is always good if you're not too focused on one type of genre. I feel like these events can be pretty hard to find if you don't know people in the scene or have friends who are invested into it. But if you just follow these events on social media, Instagram, Facebook, and you'll be kept up to date with the most recent hardstyle, EDM, trance house kind of type of events that are going on. Hardstyle is definitely getting bigger and bigger in the UK, which is maybe a good thing, maybe not, I'm not sure. But the bigger it gets, the bigger the events get, the better the lineups get, the more DJs get booked. Even though the Netherlands is certainly the place to be for hardstyle, sometimes people can't travel all the way over to the Netherlands, so it's definitely good to share what events are going on in the UK. Most of these events are either a one day or a one night rave. Unfortunately, the UK, especially in Scotland, we're not really trusted to have a proper weekend camping festival, just with what happened at Tea in the Park, and I think especially with house, trance, hardstyle type genre of festival, just wouldn't go down too well with the government, I don't think. But I know that Creamfields is a weekend festival in England that certainly features a hardstyle stage, and that's probably one of the biggest camping festivals that features hardstyle. Not entirely sure, I've never been to Creamfields. Don't know if I ever will, because I'm just so used to the Dutch festivals. I just don't know if I would ever do a UK camping festival again. I did Leeds Festival in 2015. That was one of my first festivals ever. It was great. Now that I've been to the big massive Dutch events with hardstyle, it's just nothing compares, so. But yeah, if you haven't already, please make sure to like and subscribe. That would mean a lot to me. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope to see you in my next one. Bye!